Okay, welcome to our series of live instructional webinars designed to support the Memory Book Online Yearbook program. Our goals today will be to introduce participants to the functions of the program associated with the beginning stages of yearbook creation. Specifically, we will be reviewing logging into the program, familiarization with the welcome screen, the page ladder, selecting fonts to use in your pages, creating a photo share account, and generally transferring material from the previous year's book into the current yearbook. And then kind of at the end, leading into the next installment, kind of the importance of sending in your portrait CDs if you haven't done so already. This webinar is approximately going to take about 20 to 30 minutes. It's one of our shorter ones on just kind of getting started, kind of get the basic feel of the program. So what you see in front right here, I am just on our main memorybook.com site. Um, to start with, up here, there is a link that'll take you right directly to the Memory Book Online program. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. All right, so here we are at the home screen here. Now it does have this long kind of URL here, yearbook.avenue.jostens. You can actually also get to this site by going to memoryebooks.com. But whether you go there or you come in from our homepage here, um, what I would do is just for the yearbook season, wouldn't hurt probably to go up and depending on what browser is just kind of save, bookmark this tab so that you already have this page kind of quick at hand there. So when logging in this job year, 2025, we'll just put in the numbers that were given to you by your rep here, and I'll just log into my demo here. Okay, so we're putting your job number. We'll put in whatever the username is here. Now you start with two default logins. You start with an advisor login. That is your all access, all privileges, all permissions login. And then you have the staff login, which is a limited role account, but it's very good for those that are contributing and working on pages like, parent helpers, parent volunteers, PTO volunteers, students. Um, Now, once we have all that in, we're going to hit Let's Go. Real quick, I want to point out that we do have a Forgot Your Password link here. And we're going to come back and touch on one thing that kind of relates to this in a moment when we're setting up staff logins, if you have those helping on your account. So I'm going to go ahead, hit Let's Go. I need to change my password probably. But here we are once you first get logged in, you are here on the dashboard or the home page that's here. As you're looking at it, have your school name up here. And then you have a little modules that are around here, kind of at a glance things. So this one's kind of daunting. That's the countdown date. Don't, I mean, that's just going to give a time down to when you need to have the book submitted. Was asked a one time ago, what happens if that hits all the way 0? Nothing. It's just a countdown for your reminder. So even if this runs out to where you're on your last day, or maybe something happened and you couldn't get it done like the day after, once this goes to 0, you're still able to log in and work on everything. So just wanted to point that out there. Total pages here is going to show your status at a glance. Anything at red here that's not started, so I got 94 pages. It'll show you pages in progress, which are going to be in yellow. Completed pages will be in green, and then fully submitted pages will show in black. Upcoming events and tasks kind of work hand in hand. So this would be big events, like we input some of these, like when you need to have your cover in, book submission, stuff like that. There's some other big ones that you can actually add to this, and then there are tasks. So if I could click on tasks here, what's this going to do? It's going to open up a spot here to where maybe you have certain things going on for your school, like you have certain games. homecoming, or if it's elementary, maybe you got some kind of special thing going on. So if you want to add a big event, you just hit plus, give it the name, give it a description, give it a color here, just so everyone's aware of what's coming up. Maybe you have makeup pictures coming up or something like that. You want to put that in here so you can keep track of that. And tasks down here, if I just hit the plus here. So what tasks are do be things like that you want done in the yearbook, or if you have a group helping, or things that you want to, maybe you want to leave notes for yourself or something like that. Like create, um, or maybe it's upload sports pictures. Whichever little tasks or things that you need in the book, you can do these. And then you can also assign them to students that are working in the book. So if you have your staff login set up, you can then assign your little tasks, assign the task to, what it needs to do, give it a due date, to upload sports pictures. Let's say I'm just going to assign that to my tech editor here. And I'm going to hit add. And then that will then show up as a task that, you can say, mark it complete. It's completed, or if you need to edit it, or if you need to just delete the task because you don't want to do it anymore. But that's just a quick thing if you want to keep things organized for you, keep track of events, and also kind of keep track, give yourself tasks or your staff tasks. And the last thing here was just an images toggle, or the images and tagged images. It's going to let you know what was tagged, and that'd be what you've uploaded, um, what has come in through photo share, things like that. All right, so that's pretty much our dashboard. Just at a glance here, just what we can do here. Really, main importance of the dashboard here is setting up, events and tasks to help keep things going. So from here on getting started, we're going to go under, and mainly when you're using the program, you're mainly going to go under two different areas: plan and create. I'm going to start under plan. Now, as I click the plan menu here, you'll see a whole list of options. Now, this is, I'm logged in as an advisor, so I'm seeing everything that the advisor would have access to. If I was in as staff, only staff logins can see just page ladder. So I'm going to start with page ladder here. Actually, I want to take one. I'm gonna reverse one thing here real quick. That way I come back to the page ladder right after this. Actually, I'm going to go back under plan, and I'm going to go under staff here. Now, the staff area is where the advisor controls their logins. So by default, your advisor login, you're not able to do much with that except for you can edit it. So if you as the advisor want to change your password, you would come under plan, staff. So this under advisor, this is that main login. You can edit, and you can change up the first and last to your name in that, or update your password there. Now, if you're setting up, like I said, the other one is a default staff. So everything else, like you see here, I have created these. Now, to set yourself up logins, helper, those that you have helping with the book, just come up here, hit add staff. You'll put in their first name, you'll put in their last name. For the username, you will have to use something other than advisor or staff. It has to be something in the spot is completely unique, like a unique name. What we see here most often is either if a student has, like, it'll go by their last name, or maybe it's a combination of first initial, last name, or first name, uh, initial for their, initial for their last name. Some kind of combination that's unique. So when setting up multiples, definitely make sure the username's always something different than the other one. But when it comes to your passwords, there's characters I'll put in here. So there's a minimum of 10 characters. You need to have a lower and uppercase and a number. But now when you're setting up your logins, um, I'll just put something in here quick. So when you're setting up your logins, though, for each of them, you can actually keep the passwords all the same. It's just that this has to be unique. All right, so we got last and first, username, passwords in here. Now we come to the email spot, and this is optional. But what this spot is used for is this is where we go back to that link that's on the login page. That's where this email address is used for. So if someone were to click the I forgot my password or forgot password link on the login, it would send that request to the email address that was here for that person. And then the last thing, now if you're working when setting a role, if it's a trusted, maybe it's you and another person, like a trusted co-chair, you can set them up as advisor. That way you guys both have the same access. But definitely if you're setting up a lot of student accounts or student logins and that, definitely put them in, make them staff there. And go ahead and hit save. And so now our students in our list here. But that's pretty much here for staff is coming in here and setting up your logins for those to have access. Now I'm going to jump back to the page ladder here because that's where some of this will come in more handy there. All right, so here's the page ladder. At a glance, you kind of will see some of the bottom coloring of the pages. If you see anything that's red, that means it's not started. Going back to that yellow is in progress. So if you're currently working on something, it'll go that. This page has been completed. And basically what that is this page was in progress and we just went up here, hit the complete button. Let's say, we're good with this. We like it the way it is. We're going to just kind of complete it, which puts it at a kind of a locked status that you can always go back into. It's just not a submitted page yet. Don't really want to hit submit until you're, all of your pages are a complete status. But here, we're just getting started. So as you can see, I've got a few pages kind of going in progress here. But then everything I have here is blank, just to kind of show this next thing. So I'm in a page ladder, and now if you're brand new to us this year, you will not have this option, unfortunately. But what this is to start with last year. Now, what this says, if you would like to use last year's layouts, designs, and bring them into this year, what this start with last year will do, and I'm going to click it now, is it is going to bring in your page designs. So it's going to copy, takes that page from last year, brings it into this pages, minus the photos and text. The text is actually reverted to kind of like a filler type, so you can still see that there are text boxes there. So if you had, and this is still kind of working like section of the topics, if this was kind of updated stuff in last year's ladder, it should bring some of that over. That is there. But more importantly, we're doing this for the page designs here. So we're going to hit continue. And what this is going to do is any page that is not started or in the not started, it's going to bring in that layout like you see here from last year. Any of the type was taken out. But it's filler type, so you can still see it's a text box, and then you can just put a cursor in and type in the new content that you need there. Okay, take that off. Okay. Okay, so the next thing Now, what the page ladder is usually made for is a couple different things. It is a planning and organizing tool, so that way you can assign, this is the area you're going to assign pages to. This is also the area where your students are going to access pages, because if you click on a page here in the page ladder, it's going to take you directly to that page in the designer here. So it's just a quick access way to get to where you need. Now, one thing I will show you though, just real quick, is when you access a page from the page designer, and let's say that you want to go to another page, you don't need to go all the way back to plan and page ladder. There is a pages tab here in the designer that pretty much is kind of like your page ladder too, and that way is the easier way to access another page. But we kind of see that time to time, get some questions on it and when we're working with people, they'll go to another page, they will go all the way back to plan, which is okay. Um, to go back and access it. But I just wanted to show you all that, so you wouldn't have to go full circle through the program there. Um, so with the page ladder from an advisor view, you want to start planning or using this as a planning tool. Now, it's not something that is critical or you have to, it's not a requirement to do when you're setting up, is to add sections and titles or sections on topics, but it does kind of help here. So what sections are, you kind of see I have a few kind of listed out here on some of these, is your big main sections of the book. Maybe this is your class pages, your candid pages, your staff pages, sports pages, things like that. That's what you're going to see here in sections. Um, Now, when you're doing sections, you can actually type something in here. But if you backspace a little bit, there is a generated list of topics that you could do, or sections that you could do, and wouldn't even have to necessarily pick from one of these that are here. It's just, what's this one? Oh, that's the edit one. Never mind. You can actually add your own just by manually typing in here. This is what, oh, I'll just do my section just to show that it is anything that can be there. I hit plus, and that added in my section here. We'll just kind of use that as a name in that. So yeah, you can either use from what's there or make your own sections. But that's where these come into play. So if you need to apply a section here, um, just drag and drop it over to the page and it'll put that up there. Now, once you've put that or applied a section to the page, let's say that you accidentally you brought the wrong one over. Maybe this one, maybe these were supposed to be faculty as well. You can click that little drop down and go back to the other sections that you've added. Now, working with sections is then topics. And that's pretty much, there's smart topics and my topics. My topics works about the same way. You can type in your own, um, or if you put a cursor in, start to type, it'll bring out some suggestions, and there's a whole bunch of suggestions you could do. So your topics are just narrowing down. This may be, um, faculty page, but maybe this one side is candids or something like that. It's fun. Um, there's a whole bunch of smart topics that are in here too, just pre-listed stuff that you could find if you wanted to use. Maybe I'm gonna hit art classes. So topic successfully created. So if I go back to my topics, I see that art classes was added. Um, so that could be like if you were doing, let's say if your section was candid pages, then maybe one of those topics would be art pages or art classes, and you'd have all the photos from there. To assign the topics, it's just the same drag and drop over. It'll have those kind of different topics that are there. You can go multiple ones on there, but after you get more than two, it just kind of hides what there is. So definitely sections and topics will help kind of keep things organized. Um, Now the last thing on here on this little part, it'd be how to assign pages. So when you go to staff, and these are all from the logins that you created under plan and staff, you would just kind of find those, and I'll put that student there. Um, there's a way to where if you hover over just one page, it'll assign it to that. But if you want this student to go to both pages, if you go in the middle, you'll see how both of those highlight right there, and you can put them on there. Um, and you can only assign up to two people per a page. So if I go to a third one, I've reached the max there. So up to two people per page. All right, and so here is our page ladder. One other thing you can do in this area is if you were looking to print your pages, or maybe you're doing some proofing. Let's say if students had worked on their pages and they needed to get a proof, or you wanted to do a proof, maybe it's part of an assignment, or if it's not part of that, maybe you just want to see how that page looks. You can do one or two. You can hit View PDF from here, and that will give you just a single PDF proof of that page. Later down the line, if you need to do, like, maybe you need a full PDF proof of all the pages, you'd come down here and do this print and do print all, and then that would generate a full book PDF proof that you could send out that way. Okay, so here we have that coming through. We've loaded in our last year's material. We've gone through sections, and your big sections up at the top. Your topics, that's your individual topics that you can add in here to narrow down what those specifically are in that, and how to assign pages here. So the next thing we'll go under, moving on, still keep it under the plan area, is we're going to go to fonts here. Now, whenever you first get into your job, your book starts with two default fonts. This is AYT Foundation Sans and AYT Foundation Roman. Now, one thing about these two fonts, they will need to, if all possible, leave these activated. What happens if you go to remove, if you inactivate those two fonts, it will remove the pre-made styles. Basically, it'll remove the text boxes that you can create. And just to show you what I meant by that, let me go under Create, and let me go to the Page Designer. And I go to Text. So I'm under Create. I'm under the new Page Designer, and on the text tab that's here. So these little things, and it kind of goes in hand with fonts, are what we call styles. So it's like body, copy, headline, different things here. The styles are just, if you bring a style to the page, that's just adding a text box, but it's starting it in a particular style, a particular font size and that. What will happen though is if those two default fonts are deleted, it removes these styles. It removes your text boxes from the program. They can be remade just using a different font style in that. But just wanted to really give you all a heads up of just with those, when it comes time you get it into your job, when you're under fonts, just make sure to leave, let's see, yeah, just make sure Foundation Roman, Foundation Sans, and keep those active, and then you won't have any issue with losing your pre-made text boxes there. When activating a font, there are there are tons of fonts here to go through. Um, one thing, I guess, if you're looking for particular ones, what may help in that search is under the type drop down, it breaks them down to where you can see just the script fonts. So you can see those. Serif body, sans serif body. So no lines, just kind of straight down, no little hats or anything like that. Ornamental, this would be like kind of like dingbacks and wingdings, symbol type stuff. And then decorative. Decorative is we see a lot of these used on like our fun and candid pages that are there. Now, one thing I'll show you when you're going through the fonts, if you go to see one that you like if you click on it, you can see it previews. It kind of shows you some style they can do with it. Get to another thing here. Okay, so I'm just going to show what happens if we click on. So if we go to, and I'm going to start with, okay, Ennis here. So I'm going to start with this. Now, one thing that happens whenever you go just to turn, you just have to click this button. But the one thing it does really fast is it makes it look like you did not activate anything. So one thing I'll show you is whenever you make a font active, it immediately jumps to the top of your list. And there's where that Ennis bold is right now. So if I go back down to the other Ennis's, you see that bold is gone, but I still have Ennis book. So I'll make the book active. It doesn't look like it does much here, but it sends it quite up to the top here. So there's Ennis book. So just wanted to put that out to you. It does it really quick. It does it really fast where you may not notice that you activated a font. And sometimes it is possible to where if you think it's not working, we've seen people just weren't noticing that, and they ended up activating quite a few, numerous fonts. So just a heads up there on that. So back to those styles, that's the other thing that's here. So styles, like I said, these are just your pre-made text boxes or ready to go text boxes when you're working on your pages. You don't have to use what are here. You can edit any one of these that come in. You can edit from what we have. So it's like on my headline, that was something I created. But if you want to add maybe you want to add your own style for what you want to use on headings and that, go to add style. You'll give it a new style name or a new name. Just name it even better headline. Going to keep it that way. And I want to do one of those fonts that I just picked. And let's say I want to start it at a fairly good size. And I just want to keep it normal. So I'm going to hit save. And then it kind of shows you what that looks like here. So here's that style I just created. So now if I go back to my page, take that again. Here I got even better headline. If I drag and drop it over, there we have our box. That's there. So I just wanted to show you styles, and that's all these are. When we say style, just kind of think of it as pre-made text box that's coming onto the page. All right, so last two places I'll kind of show you under here, under that plan menu, are Photo Share and ReplayIt. Now, I'm not going to spend too much on ReplayIt because this is the last season for this. So after this season, ReplayIt will be going away. It is being replaced by Photo Share. It's just the last season they wanted to for it. They just had it here just in case there were, those that are still familiar with ReplayIt still wanted to use it for one last season. So if you are one of those, hey, I'm used to using this, I want to use it one last time, you can go to our plan, replay it. Here you have a little, a checkbox to where do you want to enable a site or do you want to have a site? So you'll check that. With ReplayIt, you'll have to set a start date and an end date. Now, on that start date, if you set it ahead of the time, like let's say if we were setting it up today, but you put a date on it for next week, we wouldn't be able to go or log into that site until we met that start date. So if you are setting up a ReplayIt site and want to test it, just set it at the date that you set it up on, and you should be able to test right then and there. We go down, there's a max number of images. This is usually defaulted to 1,000. Do you want the site enabled? You're going to hit the checkbox. And then at that point, once you hit save, that's where it generates the user ID and the link to the site and a link to where you can make a flyer that is there. But it's just a real simple site here. Just go through and upload. Now, this and with photo share, all images uploaded through these connected sites go to the inbox that's in the image library. And I'll show that just after we go over photo share there. So if I go plan, now so this is one site. This is one site to contribute images. And but if you're brand new with us this year, or maybe even want to try moving away or haven't used this before and want to try some out, I definitely recommend actually going to the new photo share here, just because that's what that we will be moving to there. When you come in here, the setup is really basic. There's a school assets part. We're still working on this. This is it's here. It's going to be probably a feature down the line. Not sure which year that will be coming to us, where we can actually start changing some of this. But that's down the line. That's future stuff. But if we get down, there's two main areas under PhotoShare. When you first come in here, you'll see content and preferences, and you'll have the main school life section. School life, this will be from activities, events, and that. When setting it up, you'll actually just come in here and hit this little toggle to make it active. And you only have to set an end date for this when you want your site to close. Down below that, here is where you can, this is the photo guidelines. So we do have, each account starts with just some default verbiage that's here. Feel free to use it if you like this. Feel free to edit it to, edit what's there if you want to kind of just adjust it a little bit, or you can completely remove this and add in your own guidelines. Maybe you're looking for photo guidelines of, hey, make sure that you're sending baby pictures like this or that. So, just anything you can kind of put there. And the same if we go down lower. Now, baby photos on that or senior photos would probably be good if you flipped on portraits. So that would be, they have to choose which it is. Now, this wouldn't be like your class photos like you were getting from the photographer in their book. This would be like portraits you've taken just of your baby pics, just a single kind of headshot or kind of one-off photo just of the one person there. Group pictures and that stuff are more likely you'll want to put those under school life and that. So if you do have people sitting in, if you don't have people sitting in, like if you're just looking for the regular photos, you can have everything coming into school life. Just if you are looking to provide like graduate photos, maybe it's a graduate 8th grade as opposed to a senior, a 12th grade graduate. Or maybe you have baby pics, or maybe there is a kindergarten or preschool graduation and you want those pics. Definitely, I would flip on portraits, and you can set up the same information that's here or kind of adjust this different to what is here. Now, once all that is set up, or you've set the very minimal, you've flipped it on, you've picked a date, you've done your guidelines, you'll then come up to this top of this area and you will hit publish changes. And at that point in time, I'm just going to hit a link. Let's copy that here. You can also download the QR code. You've got a QR code you can send out to people. There's a link that you can put to people. Now, with that link, when it comes to sharing the link, I'm just going to put that in here. So that link that we had, or the QR code, will, they'll work in, just sending it through regular email or text, um, school website, school newsletter, those things. The one place that we do not suggest putting the photo share link or the ReplayIt link is on Facebook, to share it that way. While a lot of people do have Facebook and it would be easy to get that out, there is something with Facebook that alters, or I don't know if it's their security parameter, something that they do on their end. Is just something within the Facebook system makes that link invalid when you put it in that. But outside of Facebook, works totally great. So I just wanted to show real quick where that link would take you. It would take a parent or a student or a teacher to this site. Basically, what they would do is they would, fill in basic information here: email address, phone number's optional, but then they continue to verify. They'll get a short little verification email, um, and then they will be able to upload images there, contribute their images, and add tags. I just wanted to show that real quick on just what that is. Um, there are times where maybe you want to, we have seen with some schools that they have like a window, and, like kind of windows for uploading, meaning like, hey, we're going to be accepting images from this date to this date. Because you can close and reopen your site and republish your changes. The neat thing about doing that is, if you do adjust this information that is here, your link will still be good and your QR code will still be good. Even if you've sent it out to the community previously, it's the same QR code that is here just for your school. So on that, I guess on what types of images can be uploaded through here. JPEG ping images will work great. New format WebP will work. One thing that may be tricky, or it's kind of iffy, is the HEIC images, which is an Apple format. Sometimes we see them go up fine. Sometimes it's like something how they didn't get converted quite right. It'll have the HEIC extension, but it's actually a JPEG, and it needs to have to be saved as a JPEG, and then will or resaved as a JPEG, and it'll upload again. But that's the file types you're working on. No PDFs, no screenshots. They just PDFs don't go in the program. Screenshots just don't have the right meta information on those images to work well in our program. And screenshots are also very low resolution, so they don't look good for printing and that. But other than that, definitely suggest using PhotoShare to get images in. Now, all of those, once where those will come into, and I'm going to go under Create and just touch on the image library just a little bit. So those images coming in from ReplayIt or PhotoShare, they'll come in here. So there's the inbox for ReplayIt. And here's the start of the inbox for PhotoShare. There's a little arrow out beside, and that's going to show you your two main sections: school life and portraits. So if that's where they start coming in from here, then what you'll do is, if you have categories set up under activity, basically what you're doing to sort these images coming in is just drag and drop them into the folder that you need them to go into. Um, and I guess the
So
last thing I have to touch on is, since we're in the library, um, this is where the class photos will be coming into. So definitely, if a lot of schools have probably already taken their school photos, maybe they're getting ready to take spring retakes or makeups, stuff like that. So if you need to get those in, definitely if you have a link or that from your photographer, get that over to your sales rep, and then we can help with the uploading there. So once we get that link, it's usually about between 2 and 3 business days that we get that uploaded and prepped for you. Um, and then from there, you'll get email notification that they're there, and you'll be able to start organizing then. So just wanted to leave that out on that. Just still, hey, if you need to, get your photos in, and we can help you out on the uploading there. It's just beneficial coming in that way because we upload by it with an index that brings in the photo and name at the same time. That just takes the pressure, takes the the tedious task of uploading the photos and naming them all one by one just off your plate there. Um, I know I ran a little bit over, but if there's anything on what we've gone over today, gladly I can open this up for a few questions on just getting started stuff. Um, so yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free unmute yourself or add something to the chat. Um, I'll do my best to get you answered back. Okay. Um, well, I'm not hearing anything come through or seeing that, so hopefully we've kind of covered everything that we can. So um, if we have no questions, we may be good to kind of go ahead and wrap up. Um, all right. Well, thank you. Really appreciate everyone joining us today. So hopefully by showing examples in the areas of the login screen, the welcome page, page ladder, adding fonts, and setting up your photo share, this will look less of a challenge, and we can avoid some pitfalls that accompany any computer software. So definitely make sure bring over your content from last year to get a good head start. If you're still needing to send us your class photos, get those in. We get them uploaded to you, and hopefully that should pay off in some time savings for you. So feel free to join us in a couple weeks as we begin preparing portraits for the auto flow function, and then we're going to build some class pages. So we will see you then. So thank you, everybody, and we will catch you then. All right, have a good evening.